Okay, so these are looping videos or looping animations that I just created with the help of Gemini AI. And this type of looping video can be quite useful in some situations, like perhaps for a video project. You can also use it for a hero section on your website. You can also use the looping background or the abstract style like this on your presentation document. So those are some use cases where usually people use some sort of looping background. So again, these were created using Gemini, but I actually didn't use the video generation tool. In fact, this is actually not the best tool if you want to create an abstract looping video like these examples. So instead, these videos are coming or originated from codes, and codes are the kind of content that a large language model like Gemini can quite easily handle and generate. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can generate a looping video or looping animation like these examples using only Gemini AI. So this is going to be a somewhat long tutorial because there are many steps that we need to perform, but don't worry, I'm going to guide you for the process from start to the very end. So first, to create a looping video like this, we need to provide a visual that later will be converted into an animation. And the easiest way to find a picture or a visual is by, well, just use Google search. You can open Google and search for, let's say, abstract background or simple abstract background or something like that. There are many examples. So let me just navigate to images, and you can see that there are many images that you can start as a, well, you can use as a starting point. But I highly recommend to use a simpler scene or simpler visual, because even though, yes, Gemini is getting better at generating an SVG code, it is still better to use something that is not overly complicated. So I guess let me just modify the keyword. I'll just use simple abstract background. And there you go. So we got even simpler examples. There are many pictures that you can choose. So let's start maybe this one. I'll use this, and I'll just right click on the image, click copy, and paste that on Gemini to automatically upload the content as a picture into the chat area. Okay, after that, this is a prompt that you can find in the description down below. Just copy it and put that onto Gemini. So at the top, there is going to be a section that lets you describe the animation, and this is also quite important. You don't want to tell Gemini or force Gemini to make an animation that is very complex. Start with something that is simple, something that an AI model can quite easily handle. So usually a simple movement like maybe moving up and down, left to right, or diagonal are usually a lot simpler than, you know, creating a 3D effect. So be mindful when describing the animation when you are using Gemini. So let's say for this example, I want the black and yellow squares to be moving slowly diagonally. So that's going to be my prompt. It's not the best looking prompt. It is not the perfect prompt, but should be enough for Gemini. Now, right here, there is a section where I mentioned the resolution of the animation, and I do recommend to not change that. The same is true for the duration. So this is 9.960 seconds. And yeah, I know there is a very specific number, but there is a reason for that I'll explain later. But basically, this is a setting that I will use on my prompt, and select the pro variation, because after all, we just want to generate an SVG animation. SVG is basically just a code. Click submit and just wait for the result. Now, during my testing recently, I'm not quite sure why, but basically Gemini, the coding model in the Gemini platform, is kind of behaving a lot lately. So in case you didn't get a good code from Gemini in the Gemini platform, you can use that model via AI Studio. The process is still the same. You can open aistudio.google.com and then navigate to playground, and then select the model, which in this case I'll just use the latest and greatest model, and I'll just send the same query and the same image. So let me just copy and paste everything. It's just the same process again. And maybe one thing that I like about using AI Studio is you can choose plenty of options. There are many features that you can enable or disable, and you can even choose the thinking level for the model. So after that, just click run or click submit, and just let AI to animate the scene. So this might take quite a while, so I'll just skip a while and I'll show you the next step that you can do after you got the code from Gemini. Okay, so I got the code, and by the way, on the Gemini platform, it crashed. Yeah, I'm expecting that to happen, and because it keeps happening lately, I'm hoping that that is just a temporary problem. But in case you wasn't able to use the Gemini platform, then you can use it via AI Studio. So this is the code. I'm going to copy it, and after that, to preview the code, you can use a tool like svgviewer.dev. So this is the tool that I'm going to use, and you can just delete this and just paste the code that you just copy from Gemini. So I got this result. It's not the best, I gotta say. I mean, there are a few things that we can fix. And by the way, given that this is a code, you can actually tell Gemini that, hey, there is something wrong with the code. I don't like this part. I don't like this section or this color or the movement. You can tell it, and AI will fix the code. So let's say here, I'll just continue with this code, and after that, click download to get the SVG file to your computer. Now we got the SVG file. After that, we need to turn this code, this SVG animation, into a proper video. And surprisingly, this is not simple. I mean, you can go to Google and search for SVG to video converter, and I have tried many of them, and they're actually going to break your SVG files. Basically, you're not going to be getting the same result or the same animations as you saw in the animation or SVG version. But I found a tool that was much better, much consistent when it comes to creating a video from an SVG animation. This is the tool, and don't worry, I'm going to put the link of this page in the description down below, and you can use it. After that, click upload and then select the SVG file, click open, and it will give you a quick preview. Now down here, there are a few settings that we are going to change. So for the frames per second or FPS, I still recommend using 60, and for the duration, it is going to be 10. The width is 1920 and the height is 1080. So that's actually the same as the one that we have stated in the prompt. For the constant bitrate, just select 18, and right here, if you want to get the video immediately, just select one step. But during my testing, it's actually better to remove 1 or 2 frames at the beginning of the video, because actually in the video version, the first 1 or 2 frames, it's kind of freezing, so it's kind of making the animation or the looping part to be less smooth, I would say. So usually I'll just select 2 steps, and this will let us to remove the first and the second frames of the entire video, so it will make the animation to be a lot smoother. But that is optional. But anyway, I'll just select that option, click convert video, and wait for the result or wait for the next step. Okay, so just wait, and after that we can click next later. Okay, so after that, when the frames have been extracted, click next. And basically here, I recommend to remove 1 or 2 frames and at the beginning section of the video. So here, this was assigned as the first frame of the video, but I don't want to use that. So instead, I'll use this, or maybe even this. It's up to you, but I usually find that using the second frame as the first frame is usually a lot better. So I'll just use that configuration. And for the end frame, you don't have to change anything. And after that, click next for the video to be rendered as well as a MP4 video format, which later you can use it on your project. So this might take quite a while, but we're not done yet, because there is one final thing that we are going to do. So I'm going to click download and just wait for the file to be saved to your computer. Okay, it's almost there, and let me see. All right, so this is the video, and yep, I'm hoping that it is looping nicely. Let me just move here. Yeah, I would say it's decent. Not exactly perfect, but I would say that's quite decent. Now, maybe one thing that you will notice right away is the watermark at the bottom bottom left corner of the video. So that is actually quite easy to fix. You can use your favorite video editor tool, and then you can drag and drop that video into this editor, and then you can use a cropping feature. I mean, there are many video editor tools that have that feature, so it should be a basic feature. I'll just use Filmora to remove the watermark and apply, export, and I'll just export a video. And after that, we should be able to get a better looking video with 0 watermark. And well, now it is basically looping. So you can use this on a video project on YouTube. You can use it on presentation. You can also use it for your website. So there are many examples where a looping video can be quite beneficial. And by the way, I actually noticed that when I extract the video using Filmora, it smooths out the end frame. So if you look closely, it's actually even smoother after I remove the watermark. So that's a nice added bonus. But other than that, I would say this is quite amazing. And of course, it is not perfect. And right now we are limited to the SVG coding capability in the Gemini platform, and also converting an SVG animation into a video is not exactly smooth sailing. There are some well, technological differences that makes it quite difficult, and it's not exactly easy to get it right. But basically here, as you can see, we're still able to generate a looping animation like this using Gemini and some other tools along the way. So regardless of that, I hope you learned something from this video, and if you want to see more cool AI tutorials in the future, then feel free to subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. I wish you a great day ahead.